a fan, bro. Bust slow, the honeys, I'm in the Lambo. Yeah, baby.
While they're on the stand, I recognize this is a very stressful situation. I do. But I did have the opportunity to watch Ms. Lau testify in the Alicia Andrews case. And then again, I understand the stress she's under, but there were times when really I should have intervened because she was talking over the attorneys and not listening to the question. And I really don't want to have to do that at this phase for Mr. Gathright. Okay, so I'm just assuming you've spoken with her about that. Okay, that's fine. Okay, very good. All right, I think.
Judge, before we bring him in, I have something I wanted to address before.
Yes.
When I was taking the deposition, this is on Davion Murphy yesterday, of Dr. Rubino, and also when I deposed Dr. Eisenstein, which was a couple of months ago, I think about 3 or 4 months ago, actually 2 months ago, they both referenced hospital records that they had reviewed. Dr. Rubino brought it up in his deposition yesterday. We have a massive amount of documents that were provided in this case, and it was provided very timely. I'm not complaining about those, but I can't find those medical records. They're from, I believe, UF Shands Jacksonville Council. Is that right? Or?
I believe so, but I can make sure you have whatever it is that you need if you didn't get them.
Okay.
The UF Shands hospital records?
Yes.
Where are the records?
I can look. I have them.
You have them in court.
I can try and look one now.
That's fine. And then we can make arrangements to have someone over here make copies.
Okay.
Okay,
Or,
so
Ms. Toomey, could you send them to me? I'm sorry, Your Honor. I didn't mean to interrupt this court.
It's okay.
Could you send me digital copies?
By a link to your box.
Okay.
okay,
All right. Good enough.
okay, very good. Okay, all right, so let me make sure the witness is on the Zoom and then we'll bring in our jury. Hello, Mr. Harrington, can you hear me?
Hi, Your Honor. How are you? Good morning. I can hear you. How can you hear me?
Yes, we can. So we are ready to proceed. We're going to bring in our jury and then the clerk's going to step around and swear you in, okay? All right, let's bring in our jury.
Okay.
All right. All jurors are in.
Okay, very good. Welcome back, everybody. We are ready to proceed. Our next witness is going to appear via Zoom. And if the witness, Brian Harrington, would please raise your right hand so the clerk can swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this class will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Put your hand down and you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma'am.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you. Would you please introduce yourself to the jury and spell your name for our court reporter?
Yes, my name is Brian Harrington, B-R-Y-A-N. Last name Harrington, H-E-R-R-I-N-G-T-O-N.
Thank you, sir. And how do you know Sean Gathright?
Sean Gathright is my stepson. I also consider him as my son.
Okay, so Are you currently married to his mother or previously?
Previously.
Okay, so tell me when did you guys get married or when did you meet Sean?
I met Sean in early 2009 when we were stationed in Okinawa, Japan. He was 3 years old at the time.
So you were in the service along with his mother?
I was in the Air Force and she was Marine Corps.
So you met Sean at 3, and then were you in his life pretty consistently up until the current day?
Until 2020, yes, ma'am.
And is that when you divorced?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you maintain a relationship with Sean after that divorce?
Unfortunately not.
Tell me about Sean as a child.
As a child, he was very vibrant, always inquisitive about things, very good student. He always wanted to learn even at a young age. Loved sports, particularly football and basketball. We tried to get him involved in everything we possibly could, which he took to. And just say all around a very politeful, very respectful young man. And it was it's joyous to be around him. I really do like Sean, love Sean. And so very good child.
Did you guys have a good relationship?
I would think so, yes.
Were you involved in any like discipline, or was that mostly left up to his mother?
That was left up to the mother. I had no disciplinary privileges whatsoever.
And to the best of your knowledge, was he, did he have a relationship while you were his stepfather with his biological father at all?
Yes, they still maintained relatively good contact.
And what was Sean, how was he behavior-wise? Did he cause any problems?
Never caused any problems whatsoever.
You indicated that he liked sports, mostly football. Do you have any memories that you'd want to share with the jury about either any sports or anything that Sean did growing up that you find important or memorable?
Well, he's a relatively average football player. We tried to, get him to do everything. I tried to get him in baseball. He didn't really take to baseball, but he really did like football, particularly the Baltimore Ravens, which he referred to, and I don't mean to embarrass him, but Baltimore Raisins. And so that was always a joy to hear him talk about that. As far as basketball is concerned, he loved basketball. He always wanted to have the ball and, score as many points as possible. But a very good child growing into his teens. He maintained that drive and that motivation to be as best as he possibly could when it came to athletics.
And what about in school? Do you recall how he did in school?
He did very well in school, very smart. As a matter of fact, when we moved to Lejeune in North Carolina, we were actually trying to get him to skip a grade because he was doing so well. Very smart. And again, since I was Air Force, I was trying to get him to possibly prep for the Air Force Academy or so forth, because I'm a little biased that way. But I didn't let that dissuade him at all. But he very, very good in school. I'm very proud of his grades and the way he performed. Matter of fact, he kind of taught me, because that was around the time that Common Core was starting to rear its head, and he actually had to start thinking about outside the box about how to come up with 2 + 2 = 4. I don't know how else you can decide that, but he would actually break it down and just think outside the box, and just really intelligent young man.
Yeah, they did add a lot of extra steps to that at some point.
Yes.
Tell me, I know since you were in the military and his mom was in the military, you indicated at some point you moved to Camp Lejeune. How did the moving around and kind of instability affect Sean?
I don't think it affected him at all. As military members and also military dependents, I think we're used to moving every 2 to 3 years. So it's always a brand new opportunity to meet new individuals, different cultures, see and experience different things. And again, that's what we opened him up to, him and his sister. And I think we did a relatively good job, but he never got disgruntled. He never got upset. He never got depressed. He just, he rolled with everything the best that he could, which was a relatively good job. And so never had any problems with that. He was a good mover.
What, do you have any memories, specific memories that you'd want to share with the jury about maybe time traveling or anything specific about Sean growing up?
Sure. Well, I'm an active commercial pilot, only of small airplanes, of course. But I would always take them flying. The family and I we, for instance, in Okinawa, we went to every single island within 167 miles of Okinawa. And again, it was, for them to experience cultures. But the thing is, my point is, he would love to travel. I don't think he really enjoyed being in a small airplane. But once we, got to our destination and everything, he was just overzealous to, see what was going on, to, experience the culture. Even when we moved to the States, we still maintained that travel arrangement of I tried to fly them everywhere we possibly could. And again, it was to, have him experience, things that a lot of people don't see. For instance, I remember when we flew in the Kitty Hawk, we just happened to wake up one day and said, hey, you want to go see where the Wright brothers, first flew? And this was in, so anyway, we rented an airplane, we flew up to Kitty Hawk. We toured the facilities of the Wright brothers. And he was very interested in that, which pleased me because it was aviation based. But, and then of course the food, we never left hungry. Really good memories. A lot of them were about traveling, camping, outdoor activities. And again, the athletics, going to his games. I don't know if you know what the PAL is, the Police Action League, I think is what it stands for. But he played in those basketball leagues, and so I always enjoyed going to his basketball games, and so forth. It was a joy.
And I know you said that you haven't, since the divorce from his mother in 2020, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
You haven't had much of a relationship or contact with him, but have you spoken at all over those last few years?
Well, unfortunately not. I wish I would have tried to maintain contact with him, but at the time, I don't think it was feasible. And it wasn't his fault, it was more my fault.
What about moving forward? Are you open and willing, or do you want to have a relationship with him moving forward?
Oh, absolutely. I would love to talk to him every single day if I could. And assist him, give him guidance, give him, feedback, advice, whatever. Like I said, yeah, on paper, he's my stepson. Well, no longer, but I still consider him as my son. And I love him very much. And so yes, I definitely want to be in his life.
You have a moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness.
Okay. Ms. Doherty?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Harrington, for the 11 years when you were with his mother, it sounds like that you had a very loving, supportive relationship with Sean Gathright. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You went to his games, and sounds like you went on a lot of trips with him. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you also saw that he was in a loving relationship with his mother.
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
There was no abuse or anything like that in the household?
No, ma'am, not at all. That would not be tolerated.
And you supported him and offered him advice during that time period?
Yes, ma'am, the best I could.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, very good.
I don't have any other questions, Your Honor. You can be released.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Harrington. Your testimony is concluded, so you can log off the Zoom, all right?
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a
Okay,
great day.
you too. Any other Zoom witnesses at this time?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to put it on standby, I guess. Do we have Zoom witnesses at all today? We do? Okay, well then I'll probably put 10 back in the waiting room. I mean, 5:05, sorry, forgot where it was. Okay, And who's going to be your next witness?
Lisa Gaffrey?
Okay.
Should be out in the hallway. Lisa Gaffrey.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this class will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Just make sure you're talking to the microphone.
Okay. All right, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Morning. Sorry. Good morning, ma'am. Can you please state your name for the record and make sure you move up to that microphone because it's hard to hear sometimes.
Lisa Gathright,
You spell your name for our court reporter.
Lisagathrigt.
Thank you. And Ms. Gathright, what is your relationship to Sean Gathright?
He's my grandson.
So is his father your son?
Yes, he is.
And can you tell me a little bit about your relationship with Sean? Obviously, you're his grandmother, but are you close with Sean? Have you been his whole life?
I've been very close to Sean ever since he was born.
Have you been involved in his life since he was young?
Yes, his parents were both in the military and they were deployed. And there were times when both of the kids stayed with me for extended periods of time. He went to school in the town where I live, and
Where do you live?
I live in Oxford, Mississippi.
And did you live there when he was growing up as well? You've been there?
Yes,
Okay. So he would come and stay with you, live with you and go to school?
yes, ma'am.
And can you tell us a little bit about Sean as a child? What was he like? What was his character like? How did he behave?
He was a fun kid. He has a great sense of humor, a wonderful personality. He's just all around good kid.
Did he get in trouble?
No. He was very well liked by everyone around us. The neighbors all liked him.
How long do you think, or I know probably different timeframes with the parents being deployed, but how, give us kind of an idea of how long he would be living with you or?
Well, there had been times where they were there for a whole school term. And then for the last, like when he was in high school, he was with me for about a year and a half.
Would you spend holidays or birthdays, things like that together when he wasn't living with you?
Yes, we did a lot of traveling together on the holidays, and I was always there with him whenever I could be.
And we heard yesterday about Sean traveling overseas with some programs that he was involved in. What do you know about that?
The first time that he went, I went with him, and we went to Ireland and Scotland, and it was a wonderful, very educational trip.
Did Sean like to travel?
He loves to travel.
And how was he in school?
Very good. He made good grades. He was not any kind of a problem student or anything.
What kind of interest did he have, if you can remember? Was he into sports or music or?
He was he liked photography. He was very into photography, and he started a couple of his own little businesses. He was detailing cars and pressure washing people's houses, and he bought his equipment with money that he had saved from jobs that he had worked.
With his parents being deployed and having to live with you and go to school and then he would leave, how did he adjust to that? Were there any issues with it?
He adjusted very well. I think he felt like my home well, he knew it was his home and he felt very comfortable and at ease there.
And what about your son as his father, as Sean's father? What was his relationship with him like?
Volatile,
What do you mean by that?
physically and verbally abusive.
At what ages?
Early teens, well, probably before that.
What would he do? What do you mean by volatile? Like what would happen?
Well, one time Sean was out in California with his dad, and his dad called me and he was in a panic and he said, Sean has run away. And I said, what are you talking about? And he said he went in the bedroom and he was gone. He had opened the window and it was a first floor apartment, and he got out and he went to the park with his suitcase. And I called Sean and I said, what's going on? And he told me that they had had a fight and that my son had physically abused him. And I talked to him and I tried to calm him down, and I convinced him to go back to the apartment and stay there. And then we made arrangements not long after that for him to leave from California and come back to Mississippi or Florida. I can't remember which one.
And why did you have him go back if his father was physically abusive?
Well, I'm in Mississippi, he's in California. My son was remorseful. He's always remorseful at the time, but the behavior still continued. And I just felt like at the time that was the only thing I could do myself, is to get him to go back.
You didn't have anywhere else to go in California?
Yeah.
And was that the only time that anything happened, or did that seem to be kind of the basis of the
No, we were out in
relationship?
California visiting one time, and my son has another younger son, and we were at the pool, and his little brother kept splashing water on him, and Sean kept telling him to stop splashing, and even his mom told him to stop splashing. Well, he continued, and so Sean splashed water back at him, and my son saw that, and he went into a rage, and just ruined the whole time together. One time we were out there and he physically abused his daughter. He slapped her.
Is Sean's sister Nevaeh his
Yes,
daughter as well?
yes.
Do you still have a relationship with Sean's father
No,
for those reasons?
yes.
Do you think that had an impact on Sean, or did he have other male role models in his life?
My late husband was a wonderful role model for Sean, and Sean loved his papa. And there was a lot of men in the church community that took Sean under their wings and tried to mentor to him. One of my neighbors, they all love Sean.
I'm going to, Your Honor, if I can approach the witness with defense 1, A through Q.
Okay.
Shown the state, I don't believe they have any objection to the photos. Just going to show you these, that we have, it's a composite, 1A through Q, and just tell me without details, just do you recognize these?
Yes. Yes.
And I'm just going to ask you a few questions about those. Your Honor, at this time, I would ask to move these into evidence and be able to display them for the jury.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, admitted.
Yeah, I'm just going to go through some of these photos, and if you can just tell us what you remember about them. I'm showing you. Oh, see? Nothing. Thank you. This is 1A.
That was when we were in London.
And who's in this photo?
That's Mr. Edwards, Sean's guidance counselor, and his sister Nevaeh.
And that was in London, and you were on that trip?
Excuse me?
It was in London, you said?
Yes.
And what about this one? Do you remember where that one was?
I wasn't on that trip, but that was when he went to South Africa.
With Mr. Edwards again?
Yes, yes.
I think this might have been around the same time.
That looks like the same trip.
South Africa?
Yes,
And,
that would be the same trip.
okay. Sorry, these are all a little bit different. Is that Sean there?
Yes, that's Sean.
How old do you think he was in that picture?
Probably maybe 16 or 17.
That was 1E, sorry, lost track.
That looks like that was in Scotland.
Did you go on that trip with Sean?
Yes,
And that's Mr. Edwards again?
yes,
Okay. How old was Sean there approximately?
probably 15.
That was one of those trips through the program with his school?
Yes. That looks like the Africa trip.
Because they were involved with some humanitarian work there? Is that-
Yes.
Okay. And how old did you say you think Sean was?
I think he was 16 or 17. Same there.
Mr. Edwards again?
Mhm.
Where is this one?
That's in Ireland.
And is that Sean here?
Yes.
And then, I don't know, do you know the other people or that was just? a
I don't
photo
know
there?
any of those other ones.
Were you on that trip with him as well?
Yes.
How old do you think Sean was there?
I think 15.
And that was 1J. That might have been South Africa again.
I believe so.
They took a lot of photos without you, huh? What about that one?
That was on a cruise that he and Mr. Edwards took
Where did they go on that cruise?
down to the Caribbean. I'm
How
not
old-
exactly sure what islands they went to.
And how old do you think Sean was here?
Probably around 14.
And then this is a little bit blurry, but it's pretty in the background. Were you on this trip?
Yes,
Okay, I'll ask you where you went, although. it's
that was
probably
Paris.
obvious. Paris?
Yes,
And how old was Sean when you went to Paris?
I think around 16 or 17.
So a lot of these trips were kind of in the same, I know he was only certain grades at that school, right?
Right. Mhm.
So a lot of the trips were close together in time.
Yes, I think they traveled once a year to different places.
And Your Honor, may I approach the witness again?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm approaching with defense 3A through C. I'm going to show you these pictures. Do you recognize these?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Okay. And then that.
yes.
Thank you. Your Honor, I'd ask to admit defense 3A through C and publish for the jury.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Permitted.
Okay. And Ms. Gathright, who's in this photo?
Sean and I,
Okay, looks like maybe holiday time.
yeah,
Tell me about why
that
this-
was around Thanksgiving Thanksgiving.
Okay, and you kind of giggled when I showed you that. Was this a
Because
special
of my,
picture for
I'm
you?
not a very photogenic person. I don't like my pictures.
So you look like you're having fun.
Oh, he makes me smile.
How old do you think Sean was there?
He was probably 16 or 17.
And I'm going to show you 3B. Who's in this photo?
That was Nevaeh and Sean and their dog. He loved those dogs. He used to put clothes on them, their stepdad's clothes.
And how old do you think Sean and Nevaeh were there?
He was probably 11, 10 or 11.
Looks like there's another little dog over here. Maybe.
Yeah.
Is that your dog?
No, I had a German Shepherd.
Okay, they were all there. Okay. And then this last one you provided to us, we've heard a lot about Sean and his businesses. What is this?
That was when he would do detailing of cars.
And was this like a little flyer that he would?
Yes, he made up
Pass out?
all of his advertisements.
What would you say Sean had a good work ethic?
He had a very good work ethic. At one time, we live about 2 miles from the country club, and Sean was working there, and he would sometimes ride his skateboard. He would take the back roads and ride his skateboard to work, and it was hills and up and down. It was not an easy task.
Miss Catherine, I know your grandson, it seems like you had a pretty good relationship with him, and you said he makes you smile. What do you want the jury to know about him and his character?
He's just a very fun-loving person. He loves food. He loves to eat. We were on a trip out in Texas one time, and we were in Grapevine, Texas, and I was in a shop and we were getting ready to leave, and the clerk asked if we had any more questions, if we needed to know anything else, and he said, yes, where's a good place to eat? And that was the kind of things that he would talk about. And one year, it was New Year's Eve, and I have a pool, and every year we have this little contest, and it's to see who was going to be the first one in the pool for the season, and then who's going to be the one that stays in the long. About 2 minutes before midnight, and Sean jumped in the pool in December in Oxford, and it was cold. And so he got out, and then about a minute after midnight, he jumped in. So his record stands. It can't be broken.
He was the last one in and the first one in?
Right.
Okay. Your Honor, may I have a moment?
Yes.
I will pass the witness.
Ms. Gathright, it sounds like you had a loving, wonderful relationship with your grandson. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And I know that you have talked about your son and his relationship with Sean was not a good one. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Fair characterization? That's a fair statement that they
Yes,
did not
yes.
have a good relationship?
Right.
Sean didn't live with his father, though. Is that correct?
Just for maybe a month or so at a time.
It was visits and at most a couple of months. Is that correct?
Yes.
And because of the nature of the relationship, Sean would not stay with him. Is that correct?
That's
It
correct.
sounds like you and your husband provided that alternate home whenever his mother would be off overseas.
Yes.
And you and your husband, your late husband, were very supportive and loving to him during that time. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you've told us that there were members in your church that were also there to provide him with support and mentorship.
That's correct.
You felt that was important that he had that support. Isn't that true?
Yes.
You also gave him the gift of travel, the love of travel. Is that correct?
Yes.
You went on many trips with him,
Yes.
not just to the photos that we saw there, Scotland and Ireland. Isn't that true?
That's true.
There were other trips as well as in the United States. You
Yes.
traveled a lot with him.
Yes.
He also had a loving, supportive relationship with his sister. Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes.
And from the time that he did have a relationship with his stepfather, Brian Harrington, that was also a very positive, loving, respectful relationship.
Yes.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
I don't have any.
They just want to be excused? Okay, thank you, ma'am. You're free to go.
Thank you.
I think you're a little more photogenic than you give yourself credit for. All right, and who's going to be your next witness? Okay.
Yes, live.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this class will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Okay, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Can you please state your name and spell your name for our court reporter?
Damali Lyle, Damalie Lyle.
Just make sure you speak up. Sometimes it's hard to hear. Just get close to the microphone if you can.
Okay.
Ms. Lyle, how are you related to Sean Gathright?
Sean is my son.
So we've heard a lot about Sean as a child. What do you want the jury to know about your son?
I'd like the jury to know that my son is a hardworking person, a hardworking young man. He's intelligent. He's driven. He has a wonderful work ethic. I want the jury to know that this is not, I believe what has been presented is not my son.
Yeah, I'm gonna sustain the objection. Listen, I tell you what, I need the jury to step out momentarily, okay?
All rise. All jurors are out, yes.
Okay, so Ms. Lyle, I just want to first acknowledge that I recognize this is very stressful for you and scary. I do. But the jury has determined your son's guilt. That issue's been settled. We're not going to revisit that in front of the jury. So I just want to encourage you with regards to your penalty phase testimony. The best thing you could do for your son is just express all of the wonderful characteristics about him, okay? And how deeply you love him and how deeply he's loved by his family. This is not the time to be readdressing any of the facts of this case. All right, I just want to make sure that's clear because I want to allow Ms. Finkelstein the chance to ask you the questions she wants to ask you and for you to relay this important information to the jury. But if we start going sideways into issues that are not pertinent to this phase of the trial, then the state's going to have to object. I'm going to have to rule, and then it just really it lessens the impact, really.
I just have one question. If I say, well, what I was going to say is, this is not the son that I know, is that
that's
a part
fine.
of the?
That's fine. I think, and I think because you did testify previously in the co-defendant's case, I think just based upon that, I suspect the state's a little concerned that we're going to start heading down. And so just as long as we all understand what we're doing here, then it should be fine. Okay. Okay.
And I can kind of guide you through it. And I think it was because you said presented, and then that seems like evidence, and we don't want to talk about the evidence and things like that.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Let's bring the jury back in. Okay, I tell you what, let's go ahead. We'll just take our own quick 5-minute comfort break, okay? So, Ms. Law, we're just gonna take a restroom break since there's a number of jurors that are using the restroom. And so you were welcome. You can stay there, but you don't have to. But because you've not yet been cross-examined, if you step down, you can't talk to anybody at all about anything related to this case.
Okay, you said it was a 5-minute break?
Yeah, 5 to 10. So, yes.
Okay, well,
Yes, it's up to you. You can stay or you can step down. It's fine. The most important thing is you just can't talk to anybody about the case.
Okay.
Okay, very good. Probably make it more like 10. you. You first pull it. Counsel's back. Witnesses on the stand, so let's go and bring in our jury.
Yes, Judge.
Sure.
While they're walking in.
All rise. All jury ready, Judge.
Okay, very good. Welcome back, everyone. Have a seat, and Ms. Finkelstein, you may continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mrs. Lyle,
Yes, ma'am.
you comfortable?
Yes.
Okay, get in there and get into the microphone. So you were telling the jury, what about Sean's character? Do you want the jury to know? How is he as a son?
As a son, he is a sweetheart. He's helpful. He's considerate. He's always thinking about what he can do to make somebody smile or just to help out in any way. He's been so caring and thoughtful for me, even though that's my job is mostly to take care of Sean. But he's grown into the person who's like, Mom, really? And he like kind of reels me back. He's mature in that way. He's very mature.
And we've heard a lot about, you were in the military, right?
Yes.
Okay, and what branch?
I was in the Marine Corps.
You moved around a lot when Sean was younger?
We did, yes.
And how do you think that he adjusted to that?
I think it made him he never became someone who would chase popularity or have a large group of friends. The friends that he does have, it's a small circle, and they're very close to each other. On a Friday or Saturday night, you wouldn't find him out at a club or hanging out or anything like that. You most likely find him and his 2 or 3 best friends, sitting at my house talking about who knows what all night long. And I'd get, wrapped up in there and they'd have debates. And it was something that was so nice to see in, young men of this day and age, where it wasn't just about music or it wasn't just about superficial things. Like they really had real deep, meaningful conversations.
Is Nehemiah Tudor, is he one of those friends?
Yes.
So we talked to him yesterday, and he was kind of sharing some of the things that they would do. And that was when you were in Jacksonville, right?
Yes.
When did you give us kind of a time frame? We've heard about obviously traveling in the military. We've heard about living in Mississippi. When did you guys move to Jacksonville?
We moved to Jacksonville in 2016 after I retired from the Marine Corps.
2016?
Yes.
Okay. And did you stay there consistently till now, or?
Yes.
At any point, did Sean move from Jacksonville?
Yes, he moved from Jacksonville. I want to say it was 2020 or 2021. He moved out to California with his dad for a while.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's all.
How long was he there?
He was there for approximately, I would say, 1.5 to 2 years.
What was his relationship like with his biological father?
It wasn't a good relationship. My experience with their father, which is the main reason why we were divorced. He had a very volatile temper. And I think as Sean grew older, I don't think he was the kind of person who would see like another confident male, even if it is his son. Maybe he was threatened by the person that Sean was becoming. But in my opinion, their dad was pretty insecure. So
did it seem to be more volatile as Sean got older, like not when he was a little kid?
As Sean got older, yes.
What about Sean's behavior? Did you have behavior issues with him? Did he have to be punished a lot?
No, Sean was such a good kid. No, he was mature. He was, so like he could be serious and really understand what he was supposed to do. Didn't mean he always did it. He, he did the usual kid things. You had to tell him 2 or 3 times, hey, go clean up your room, do the dishes, stuff like that. But he never made a big fuss about it. We didn't really have any arguments. And we had one argument, and I think it was more just about frustration, about trying to figure out, oh, no, here we go. So when he started college the first semester.
Where did he go to college?
He went to FSCJ. So the first semester, I paid for the first semester and everything. And he, went to, but his grades were not that good. Like he was doing, I think it was like C's and stuff like that. And I said, hey, if you don't, I was like, I'm not paying for another semester. You're going to have to pay for it. So he started working and he completely turned his grades around. And I was like, when you have investment in, your own thing and mama's not paying for it and you got to use your own money for it, I think it really gave him like a kick in the butt to realize that, hey, you gotta take this seriously when you're the one who's
Where was
invested.
he working to pay for school?
He worked a number of places. He worked at the Omni Hotel, one of the restaurants there up in Amelia Island. But he also did his pressure washing and photography. He did social media for a few of the clubs here in Jacksonville. He did player highlight reels for basketball players, and like team. It was like a flag football. It was like a youth football league for a park.
Mhm.
He did a highlight reel for that, and when the director saw the highlight reel that he did, they asked him to kind of become their overall like media person. So the players would pay him like $25 to take photos of their, highlights during the game, or like $50 for like a video, and he would put that together.
That was his own little business?
That was his own little business, yes.
What did he go to school for? Do you remember? What did he start studying?
He got into media when he was at Julia Landon, and I had no idea that would become such a passion of his, but at first he wanted to be a news anchor, and then he decided that he just wanted to get into film and photography. So he wanted to go to the LA Film School, and he wanted to get into, doing filmography and things like that.
Would you describe Sean as being driven?
He is, yes.
And what was his relationship like with his siblings or any other family members?
Him and his sister, they're very close. Even though they're 2 years apart, when they were little, people thought they were twins because they looked so much alike. Of course, they had their disagreements, they had their arguments and everything like that. But at the end of the day, they were so completely loyal to each other that it was a beautiful thing to see how they stuck up for each other, even though at home they tell each other to like shut up and get out of their rooms and stuff like that. But outside, they are so loyal and so loving with each other.
You described earlier that Sean was helpful. Would you say that he's somebody that likes to help others?
Yes.
Do you think that he could be a good mentor?
Oh, absolutely.
What about your relationship with Sean now? I mean, obviously you were close with him growing up and he lived with you, when you weren't deployed mostly, but have you maintained a close relationship with him as he's gotten into adulthood?
Oh, yes, I have. And he's become the cool, logical head that, like I said, that's like, Mom, no, I don't think this is a good idea.
He's still supportive of you?
Oh yeah, he's still supportive of me, just as I was supportive of him as ever. He's my boy.
And will you continue to have that relationship with him moving forward?
Oh, forever.
Your Honor, may I have a moment?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness.
Okay. Questions?
Just briefly. Miss Lyle, your son also went to community college, is that correct?
Yes, FSCJ.
Yes. And besides that brief period of time where he wasn't doing so well, he normally was a good student, is that correct?
Yes.
And he traveled a lot throughout growing up?
Yes, as a part of just being in the military also.
With you, he traveled
Yes.
as well. And you said that he had a close group knit of friends, is that correct?
Yes.
And later, while he was living with you, one of those close friends was Isaiah Chance, isn't that true, ma'am?
Yes.
And you didn't have any concerns about his close relationship with Mr. Chance, isn't that true?
That's true.
I have nothing further, Judge.
Okay, redirect? Okay, and this witness be excused? Yes. Okay, very good. Thank you, ma'am. All right, and who's gonna be your next witness? Okay.
you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this class will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
All right, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Make sure you pull yourself up as close as you can to the microphone and just speak up if you can, okay?
Yes.
Will you please introduce yourself to the jury and spell your name for our court reporter, please?
Nevaeh Gathright, my first and last.
Please.
NEVIAHGATHRIGHT.
And Miss Gathright, how do you know Sean Gathright?
He's my brother.
What's the age difference between you and Sean?
2 years.
Are you older or younger?
I'm older.
You're older, so he's your baby brother?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell the jury a little bit about your relationship with Sean. Have you guys always got along pretty good?
Yeah. I've never been away from Sean. We grew up together. That's my best friend.
So ever since he was born, you guys were never separated. 'Cause we have heard a lot about your parents in the military and some moving around, but did you guys always stay together?
Yes, we moved a lot, but we've never been apart.
So if he would go to Mississippi or you guys would stay with grandma, you were always with him?
Yes, ma'am.
And so have you always been close?
Yes.
No fights?
Of
Of course.
siblings.
Tell me about Sean's character. What do you love about Sean? You said he's your best friend. What makes him your best friend?
I guess just how little brothers are. Like they pick on their sisters. He always bothers me, but in the good way. He used to like when we lived in Mississippi, he would come into my room and he would put on all of my sunglasses. Or like excuse me. He used to take my little TV on my dresser and he would turn it upside down. And I'd be like, why did you do that? And he'll just walk out. I don't know why, but he's a funny person. He's sweet. He's caring. He's always there for me when I needed him.
We heard a lot about you guys got to travel
Yes,
together. What did you like about traveling with your brother?
Just the fact that I got to experience new things and see the world with him was probably it's the best thing ever.
Those good memories you can carry forward?
Yeah.
Okay. Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
I am approaching with defense 4, composite A through double D. I'm just going to show you some of these, see if you recognize this composite that we've. Just going to show you some of these photos, okay? Just so you guys will know. Do you recognize all these photos? Okay. Your Honor, I'd ask to admit defense 4, A through double D, and publish a few of these to the jury, please.
Any objection?
Any objections? That's okay.
No objection.
Okay, admitted.
I'm just going to show you some of these. There's a lot, and the jury will be able to look at them, but go through some of these photos. You just tell. Is that you and Sean?
Yeah.
How old do you think you were there?
Maybe like 6 and 8, I think.
And that was 4A. This is 4B.
Oh
Where
my
is this one? Where's the pantry?
It's in Oxford, in Mississippi, with my grandma. It's a food pantry. And you can people can come and get the groceries, like low income, kind of, I guess like EBT people.
Okay.
Yeah, we would stock the shelves, bag chickens, put milk in the fridge, and then people would come in and we would make a bag to give to them.
That was volunteer work that you guys did?
Yeah, for the church.
Was that through your church? Yeah. Is that you guys? Where are you there?
Sandestin, Florida, at the beach.
How old were you, you think?
I was 16, I think. Maybe I was 17, 15 and 17. That was his birthday. That was at a restaurant. It was our favorite Japanese restaurant at the time. That was his birthday.
We heard a lot about Sean liking to cook. Did he cook for you ever?
He never cooked for me
Oh.
specifically, but yeah, he was always in the kitchen. He was always making something.
And I'm going to show you 4G.
Yeah.
Is that you guys?
Mm-hmm.
What
That
does
was,
that picture say to you?
he's just a silly, goofy little boy.
Is that kind of common of what you would do with him and see him doing?
Yeah.
How old do you think you guys were there, or where? What you know?
I think I was 16 here. He was 14. This was the year before that last picture that he showed. This was in California.
What were you showing off here?
He was showing off his braces, but you know, like the Kodak Glee thing that they do. That was just it.
We've heard Sean liked photography too. Did he take a lot of these pictures or pose for them?
Yeah.
What's happening in this photo?
He got his ears pierced at Claire's for the first time, and he was like, "Can you hold my hand?" Well, he didn't want me to hold his hand, but I made him.
But he didn't push you away either, did he?
Mm-mm.
How old was he when he got his ear pierced?
I honestly can't remember how old he was.
And that was 4J. I'm going to show you 4K. This looks like maybe a holiday.
Yeah, that was Thanksgiving at my grandma's house.
What makes you giggle?
Just the fact that he used to do stuff like this with me, like he wouldn't do this for anybody else. He wouldn't sit here and pose like that or just be silly. We call it the white girl pose. Oh.
You guys there?
Mm-hmm.
And this looks like maybe Christmas time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pictures of you guys just kind of holding hands and hugging. Is that reflective of your relationship?
Yeah. Oh, this was in California too.
You look a little younger there. It's hard to tell, but how old do you think you were there?
You think you were 12 in this picture? Maybe.
He was 12 or you were 12?
He was 12, I think.
Maybe traveling there?
Yeah, this is when he went to Scotland and Ireland, and I was dropping him off at the airport. They left on my birthday, though. He was sad, but it's okay.
You didn't get to go on that trip?
No, he just went with my grandma.
Where was this one?
This was in Jamaica.
What were you doing here?
Hanging our clothes we had just washed
Why did you
by
have to do that?
hand. Because we don't have a dryer. They don't have washer and dryer, so you got to wash your clothes by hand, hang them up on the line to dry.
What kind of trip was that?
I think that was a family reunion. That was us in Jamaica, too.
Same one, okay.
Yeah.
That looks like it got cut off, but maybe London?
Yes, he had the little hat.
Yeah.
I was like, smile. He was like, the guards don't smile, ever.
Looks like you still got a little bit out of him, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And then would this be his high school graduation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That was in Jacksonville?
No, he graduated
Mississippi.
Mississippi. Yes.
This maybe the same.
Yes.
Were you both living in Mississippi at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then I'm going to show you 4X. Who's that?
That's me at my baby shower.
When was that? Is that your first baby?
Yes.
How many babies do you have?
2. 2 years and 2 months.
So this would have been the 2-year-old.
Yes, ma'am.
So back in what year? Do the math for me. It's not my strong suit.
2024.
Okay.
Yes.
And what month? When
This was in February, but he was born in March.
Okay. And so Sean got to come to the shower.
Yeah.
Does he have a sash on like you do?
No, that's just his
Oh,
shirt.
it's just-
Yeah.
I was going to say, what does that say? And then when your baby was born in March.
Yeah. He came to the hospital to see me. He gave me a hug. And he said, let me see the baby.
How was Sean as an uncle?
Just caring and supportive and helpful. He loves his nephew.
Did you guys all live in the same house when you had the baby?
Yes.
Okay, so he was able to be involved.
Yeah.
Is this that same baby?
Yes. He would just take him and just keep him in his room. I have a video of him doing the buzz cut sound on his phone, and he was trying to give him a lineup, like his first haircut, just playing with him.
he's reading to a baby that probably isn't old enough to carry yet, huh?
Yeah. Oh.
How would he help you with your baby?
Like if I needed to take a shower or like get something to eat, he would just hold them for me and just let me do what I had to do, and I would come back whenever I was finished.
You know, you said that you've always been with your brother since, you know, he was born, and you guys moved around a lot together.
Yes.
How's it been without having him around to help you?
It's been hard. Being a mom, I don't really think about it as much as I know I feel it, just because I'm always doing something to take care of the kids. But like when I sit back and I really think about what's going on,
Okay.
I just miss my brother.
Will you, do you still maintain a relationship today?
Mm-hmm.
You're able to talk to him and communicate?
Yep.
And will you continue to do that?
Of course.
And hopefully in whatever way possible, could he still be involved in your kids' lives and be an uncle?
Of course.
You have a moment?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness.
Okay. Questions?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Gathright, you have characterized your and your brother Sean's childhood as a good, nice, loving childhood growing up. Isn't that true, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
You said that both of you had wonderful, loving, supportive relationships. Isn't that true, ma'am? And specifically when talking about male role models, you said that he had a wonderful relationship with his stepdad, Brian.
Yes.
He also had a wonderful godfather. His grandmother, Lisa Gathright, you both had wonderful relationships with her as well.
Yes.
And her husband, before he passed away, your grandfather, both you and your brother Sean had an amazing, loving, supportive relationship with him as well. When you all were living in Japan, you said that Sean was had a lot of activities. He was very good in karate. Isn't that true?
Yes.
So good, in fact, that he got a blue belt in karate.
Yes.
So he was able to participate in a lot of activities. Isn't that true?
Yes, ma'am.
Very supportive family, both your mother as well as his grandparents.
Yes, ma'am.
Made sure that he was active and had lots of activities, including sports,
Yes.
traveling.
Yes.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. Redirect. Okay. May this witness be excused?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. All right. You're free to go. Sure. All right. We'll just take another quick, 2-minute break. So if you guys everyone have a seat.
Yeah, by number.
By number, okay. On the description, yeah. So do I need this to possibly?
Okay, so Mr. Gathright, this is another stage of the proceeding where you make the decision and only you get to make the decision whether or not to testify, okay? You can choose to remain silent or you can take the stand, be sworn to tell the truth, and then tell the truth. It's my understanding from your counsel that you wish to testify, is that correct? And has anyone, including your attorneys, threatened you or coerced you or harassed you in any way in order to get you to make this decision? And has anybody made you any promises or assurances regarding what the jury's decision will be in this phase of the trial? And you understand, no one can, right? No one can predict like what any jury will do at any time. Your attorneys can do their best to advise you, but no one can ultimately predict. So do you understand that? Okay. And as far as at this stage of the proceedings, you will be permitted to testify, but we're not going to revisit necessarily facts because then you risk potentially opening the door. And then you could find yourself in a situation where you could be required to answer questions about the case. And that's not what is meant to happen at this stage. And it could ultimately be negatively impactful for you if that were to happen. Do you understand that? Okay. Okay. Very good. So if he's going to testify, let's go ahead and put him on the witness stand. Okay, very good. Let's go ahead then and bring in the jury.
All rise. All good, very good.
Okay, very good. Everyone have a seat. All right, Ms. Finkelstein, your next witness is? All right, Mr. Gathright, please stand up, raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, have a seat and you may continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. Please state your name for the record, sir, and spell your name for our court reporter.
My name's Sean Gathright, SEANGATHRIGHT. I was born on October 20th, 2005.
Mr. Gathright, you've heard people speak here today on your behalf and yesterday, and I know that you wanted to address the court and the jury. So I would like to ask you what you want the jury to know.
I just want to address the court today, and, I'm not here to dispute anything. I'm just here to be a man and take responsibility and express my feelings about what, this whole situation. That's what I plan on doing.
Okay. And how do you feel? What?
I feel very remorseful. This is a terrible situation. It's been a traumatic experience.
Let me ask you this. So how old were you when you were arrested?
I was 18 years old.
We heard that you had started some college, obviously probably didn't get very far, right?
Right.
What have you done since you've been in jail? Is there programs? Are there things that you can do there?
So, I've gotten into programs. I've also, I grew up, in church and, in a Christian household. So I refocused my, life to Christ, and, I've taken a lot of religious programs. I've read the Bible from cover to cover. I've tried to, share some word, and, we have prayer circles in the jail and stuff like that. I've led a couple, prayer circles, and I've tried to, kids around my age or, younger, since I'm 20 years old now, when you turn 18, you go to the adult pods and stuff like that. So if I see somebody who I see, has a lot of potential and has a chance to keep them from, basically being able to be corrected at this opportunity and not come back, I try to take them under my wing. As you see, I have a lot of resources and a lot of family that love me, and they've even, asked me like, hey, is there anybody in there who doesn't have somebody like that, who, could we send them some money, like, anything like that. So I've tried to, be a vessel for God to pour over my blessings into those around me.
We heard from Mr. Benoska, who said that, in prison that there is opportunities at times to be a mentor, or you do orientations and peer-to-peer things like that. Is that something that you'd be interested in doing?
Of course, I definitely want to, try my absolute best to course correct anybody from falling down a path that they don't have to take, especially the youth. I feel like that's my calling that God has put on my heart to, be a mentor to the youth and be a positive influence in this world.
What about those relationships? Like you said, you have a lot of people. Are you able to maintain those relationships now?
Yes. So, everybody who I, maintain a relationship with wasn't able to all be here today or, even testify. But, I talk to them daily, weekly, bi-weekly. I cherish my supporters very deeply, and I want to maintain a relationship with them for the rest of my life.
And I know, we're not going to talk about the case itself, right? But you said that you were taking accountability, you felt remorseful. Tell us what you mean by that and what statement you want to make.
To the victim's family, I want to send my deepest condolences, and I understand that it's hard losing a child, a best friend, a brother, a cousin. And for that, I just cannot say sorry enough. I feel terrible about the situation, but I'm a firm believer that God can use anything for good that the devil wanted for bad. And so I am grateful for the people I've met, for the lessons that I've learned, for just this experience in general, because it's one that I'll never forget, and it's going to shape the rest of my life.
Sounds like there's that saying, it's kind of cheesy, but you make lemons out of lemonade or whatever.
Lemonade out of lemons.
Somehow, I obviously don't make lemonade, but it sounds to me like you are going to try and make the best of a bad situation. Does that sound about right?
Of course.
And are you going to continue to do that?
Of course. I'm going to try to, continue a humble life, a righteous life, try to do the right things at all times. And,
Will you apprise yourself? We've heard about some, courses and programs and things that you can get involved with to stay busy in prison. Is that something that you plan to do?
Yeah. So hearing Raul's testimony was, the first glimpse that I have of, what prison could be like. I want to stay as busy as possible, stay away from bad apples. I want to keep a job, get into programs, try to get into any vocational things I can do, try to, keep my record clean to, go to the best incentivized things and have visits with my family, and you know, I just want to just stay out the way. You know, I just want to make everything, you know, peaceful as can be.
Even knowing that you're not getting out of prison, you want to make the best of your stay there?
Of course. I mean, who wouldn't? If you're going to be somewhere for the rest of your life, why would you make your life a living hell?
And you're young, right? You're 20?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, may I have a moment?
Yes,
I'll pass the witness.
okay, state.
You would agree with me that Charles Jones was young too, wasn't he?
Relatively young, yes, sir.
26, right?
Yes, sir.
That's what the evidence showed us, correct? You were sitting here watching that, correct? The evidence that came in over the last several weeks?
I was right there.
Yeah. And you want to take accountability now, correct? You want to take accountability now that this jury has found you guilty, correct?
Yes, sir.
Weeks after we went through a trial. Is that your testimony?
Objection, Your Honor.
I'm going to sustain the objection.
You indicated this was a traumatic experience. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
That's what you just testified to, correct?
That's what I said.
Let me just have one moment, Your Honor. I'm trying to get the all over.
Yes.
Uh-oh, chat. Comment down below. What y'all think?
Appreciate it.
Comment down below. Let me know
Page
what y'all think.
25C. You remember Gino Norris?
Yes, sir.
You remember him? He was also really young when this happened, wasn't he?
I didn't know how old he was.
Early 20s, 22. Would that surprise you?
No, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Gino Norris, who's not a gang member, who's Charles Jones' friend from the time they're children.
That's the legal basis. Okay, come on up, counsel.
The prosecutor, what is going on? The prosecutor's been waiting for this day, chat. They've been waiting for this day. Oh man, let me know what y'all think in the comments section. This is crazy. How do y'all think his co-defendants is feeling right now, watching him on the stand? That's what I want to know. This is wow. I didn't expect this, man. I mean, good on the brother, man. Good on him, but this is crazy. Wow. I did not expect this at all today. Can y'all hear me okay? Let me know. Oh, man. Sean Gathright is on the stand right now. Let me back up.
C. Xavier Edwards. 25C, Gino Norris. And you saw the autopsy photos of Charles Jones. My question to you is, after you and your friends inflicted that carnage on June 23rd, and as you were running states 2059C, this is actually you running to shoot them, but when you were running back past that Tesla, were you feeling a lot of trauma at that point?
It was so long ago, I try to not remember anything from that night.
Were you remorseful as you were running back with that AR-15 in your hands?
Like I said, try to remember nothing from that night.
Was it traumatic to you as you went back to the car with that AR-15? Was it still smoking? Was it still warm in your hands from firing it?
Sustain the objection.
Were you feeling remorse as you were getting back into the Impala?
Like I said, I just try to focus on today and moving forward.
So the next day, that Impala, that was your car. You drove that around, right? It was your mom's, but you drove that car, correct?
Yes, sir. It was my mother's car.
All right. And that was the car you drove from Jacksonville to Tampa in, correct? I'm working to a point, Your Honor.
Okay, why don't we just get there?
All right. So this car, this Impala that you drove from Jacksonville to Tampa in with Mr. Chance and Miss Andrews, the one that you drove in tandem with the Silver Cruise, the same car that you utilized to drive the assault team, the shooting team, which you were a part of that night, that same car that you drove around Tampa in the early morning hours for several hours, tracking, stalking, and hunting Charles Jones and his entourage.
Sustain.
That same Impala, you drove that to Polk County the next day, and you dropped it at your grandmother's house, right? The same grandmother who came in here last night and testified for you, correct?
Overruled. Go ahead. You can answer that question.
Isn't that correct?
What is the question?
You dropped the Impala, the one that had all of these shooters in it, the one that was utilized in this murder, that was such a vital cog in this plan. You dropped it at your grandmother's house in Auburndale, didn't you?
I'm here to testify about today.
Are you going to answer that question, or are you going to avoid it? Because that's not what I asked what you were doing here today. I think we all understand what you're here to do today, what you're testifying about. I'm asking you specifically about your remorse. Were you remorseful when you dropped that car off and left it at your grandmother's house in Auburndale?
I did go to my grandmother's house.
Were you feeling remorse when you hugged her and got into the 4Runner and left her with the Impala after you wiped it down?
Sir, I'm just telling you that today I would like to express my remorse to the
I
family and to the court.
I understand what you're trying to do today. I'm asking you, since you're trying to convince this jury that you're remorseful, were you feeling remorse that next day or later that day?
I don't remember these days in detail, how I was feeling, what I was thinking.
What about later that night when you went to Orlando? Were you feeling remorse when you were out partying at Club Parlay, celebrating what you had done that day?
That was my sister's birthday party.
What did you feel any remorse while you were drinking Don Julio tequila and putting that in your video and throwing gang signs?
I'm here to testify about today, sir. We've all seen the evidence. We've all reviewed everything.
Mr. Chance, it's not time for you now to make speeches. You've politely answered your counsel's questions. Can you not answer the state's questions? Is there something about my question you don't understand?
I was getting to
I'm
it.
sorry, Mr. Gathroy. I called you Mr. Chance. Excuse me.
I was getting to my answer. Like I said, I've seen all the evidence.
Well, we've all seen all the evidence.
Yes,
right?
sir. That's true.
And after all that evidence came in, and this jury based their true verdict on that, convicting you, now you're taking accountability? Is that correct?
Sustain the objection. I think the question on the table was remorse about
It is, Your Honor.
You just need to answer that question.
So I'm going to ask you very specifically, okay? So try to focus with a laser beam here, Mr. Gathright. Were you feeling remorse when you were in Club Parlay in Orlando drinking Don Julio? Were you feeling remorse for what you did earlier that day?
I don't remember how I was feeling or what I was thinking.
Were you feeling remorse when you got pulled over in the 4Runner a couple of days later by the police?
I don't remember. I was nervous. I mean, I had never been involved in any police.
Were you feeling remorse when you were unloading the Impala and putting all of that evidence into the 4Runner? Did you feel remorse?
Sir, I told you I don't remember how I was feeling or what I was thinking in those days.
Mr. Gathright, you have led, you would agree with me, an extremely privileged life, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
You would agree with that, correct?
I would.
You've had a loving mother, correct?
Yes, sir.
A loving sister, correct?
Yes, sir.
You've had 2 wonderful grandmothers, correct?
Yes, sir.
You would agree with me, right?
I couldn't deny that.
One of which probably, I'm assuming, sacrificed and paid for you to go to that private school, that preparatory school, correct?
It wasn't paid. It was a magnet program, so I had to apply, and it was a lottery system.
It was a lottery system. Okay, so it was a magnet.
Yes, sir.
All right. She supported you going there, did she not?
Everybody did.
Gave you open use of her house, welcomed you, treated you, and parented you basically, didn't she?
Yes, sir.
Took care of you when your parents were deployed, correct?
Yes, sir. At the time, I was living with my grandmother. Both of my parents had been either retired or out of the military. I was just living there more so. I needed a change of scenery, and my relationship with my father wasn't sustainable.
Okay. This is when you're in Oxford with your grandmother.
Yes, sir.
The nice lady we saw earlier came in here.
Yes, sir.
The one that has supported you and spoke so lovingly about you, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so you went to this preparatory school, and whether you got in there through a lottery or not, you would agree with me, not everybody gets to go to a school like that, correct?
The lottery school the magnet school I went to was in middle school when I was living in Jacksonville. The school I went to in Oxford, it was just a public high school.
A public high school.
Yes,
Okay, my mistake. So you went to that preparatory school in Jacksonville.
Yes, sir.
But again, that school was not something that every kid gets to go to, right?
Oh, sir.
Not every kid gets to have a counselor and a role model like Mr. Edwards, correct?
No, sir. I was very blessed.
And not many children get to fly in planes with their stepfather, correct?
No, sir.
And fly around in Asia and get to see islands off the coast of Okinawa, correct?
No, sir. I was
And go on
very
camp-
blessed.
You are very blessed, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
And not every kid gets to go to Scotland, right?
No, sir.
Or Ireland,
No, sir.
or Paris,
No, sir.
or London,
No, sir.
or Spain,
No, sir.
Cape Town, or Johannesburg, or both in South Africa.
Cape Town.
Cape Town, beautiful city, right? You got to go experience that when you were growing up, correct?
I did.
Because you had such loving people around you supporting you, correct?
Yes, sir.
In fact, your grandmother went with you on that trip, did she not? Or not on that one, but on the ones to
Several
Europe,
trips.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And we heard you got to meet up with your sister in one of those trips, correct?
I did. I had the privilege.
So you always had someone there taking care of you, and you always had good, strong male role models, including people at your grandmother's church and your stepfather, Mr. Harrington, correct?
I had male role models in my life growing up, but in my more formative years, more so 16 to 18, I did not have a relationship with my father, and the male role models that came and testified, they were present, but not intimately as whenever I was younger, maybe middle school years. But when I turned around 16 to 18, it was the females that actually had that caregiving and, nurturing relationship with me. But
Thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate it.
yes,
So,
sir. Towards the more recent years,
Mhm.
I didn't have that one-on-one and very close relationship with, those male role models in my life. You heard my stepfather say, after the divorce.
I did hear that, Mr. Chance. Let me stop you,
Mr.
okay?
Gathright.
And we'll go back to my question. I'm sorry?
Mr. Gathright.
I'm sorry. I keep calling you that, Mr. Gathright. Let me go back to what you said earlier. Between 16 and 18, you didn't have a male role model? Is that what you're telling the jury?
I'm not saying I didn't have any male role models, but day to day, young men need strong.
That's not what I
influence.
asked. I asked if you had a male role model between 16 and 18.
I had a figure that I could go to, but not intimately.
Mr. Edwards, right?
Yes, sir.
He had stayed in contact with you even when you graduated into high school, correct?
Yes, sir. We definitely maintained a relationship, but
And he
it
seemed to
wasn't.
be pretty enthusiastic about that, right?
Yes, sir.
In
Yes.
fact, you went on a cruise with him at some point, did you not?
Yeah, when I was younger, yes. We had
Okay.
a very close relationship.
And then from what you're saying, if I understand it right, the females, I'm assuming you're talking about your grandmothers and your mom stepped into the gap?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was grandmother's, mother's, sister.
So let me see if I got this right. When you were being brought up, and you were being brought up by a mother who was enlisted or an officer in the military, an officer, wasn't she?
I don't know exactly what her rank is. I know she was a sergeant.
But in the Marine Corps.
Yes, sir. She was in the Marine Corps.
All right. And then you had a stepfather who was in the Air Force, right?
Yeah, he was.
From the time you were 3 all the way up to when they divorced in 2020.
Yes, sir.
All right. They taught you right from wrong, correct?
Yes, sir.
And we
Of
heard
course.
that from your
Yes, sir.
grandmother,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yeah. Of course. Yes, sir.
Miss Lyle, she told us the same thing.
Right.
They brought you up in the church. They taught you about the 10 Commandments. They taught you about right from wrong. Did they not?
They did.
All right. And they were excellent role models about living your life in a disciplined, honest, and right way, correct? And being law abiding, correct?
They really didn't have to worry about me.
Well, let me just answer my question. Would you agree with what I'm telling you? That they were excellent role models of how to live a moral life?
Yes, sir. They definitely instilled the foundation.
May I have one moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
I have nothing else, Your Honor.
Okay, be direct.
Mr. Gathright, despite living, I think I did that. Despite having what you called a blessed upbringing, you still find yourself here today, right?
Unfortunately.
Where you had lived, we heard about Mississippi, and was Jacksonville different than where you had lived previously?
Jacksonville was unlike any other city that I've lived in or visited or any other country. The cultures, the neighborhoods, the people, it's completely different.
And how old were you when you kind of started experiencing that culture shock?
So when I moved to Jacksonville, I was about 9 or 10 years old. I didn't really know much about what the streets were, quote unquote, the streets were. It was more whenever I got to high school and I wanted to leave the magnet school that I was at. I wanted to be at more of a neighborhood school to be around the people I grew up with, because at the magnet schools, it's 30, 45 minutes away. I didn't really know anybody. I wasn't as close as the people who I grew up with. So around high school, that's when I started hearing about, and seeing, the different things like, the drugs and people dying and, stuff like that. And then I was caught completely off guard, but I was curious, like, what is this? I'm listening to the music. Like, I was just like caught off guard. Like, I'd never experienced something like that, especially living in Japan and, living in different states around the world. I mean, in the country, it didn't have what Jacksonville had.
And we've heard from a lot of people that knew you, and I think it's been a pretty consistent theme that you were mature and smart and interested in things. But you were still how old around that time?
I was 14, 15. I definitely would consider myself to be smart and mature for my age, but
still curious.
I was still a young boy. I still am a young man.
You think you were kind of impressionable?
I would characterize myself as, at times being naive, gullible, impressionable, and yeah.
And so despite that upbringing, are you finding yourself, you're in a different culture now, but you still want to be as successful as you can?
Yeah, so being in the jail, I'm by myself, especially in a city so far away. I don't know anybody, so I took this time to focus back in on myself and just get back to the basics, what I know, and without anybody being in my ear or influencing me, I've cut out the noise. There's not many distractions in jail. You know, it's the same thing every day. So I started to work out and, you know, programs, try to educate myself more, plan, you know, stuff like that. Everybody asks themselves, or everybody asks God for things, you know, what we want from what we want God to do for us. But a lot of the times we don't ask what God wants from us. And so I've asked God that question, you know, what do you want from me? You know, I'm asking all these things from you. What do you want from me? And he told me that he's calling me, like, I feel like my calling, or what he told me, was to be there for the youth, serve the youth, keep them from going down similar paths, because there's a better way. And the streets is not the way. The streets are not the way.
Even having everything, trips and privilege and church and grandmas, and you still can find yourself going down a wrong path, right?
Objection, leading.
Sustained.
And you feel that that's your calling?
Yes, I want.
Objection, non-responsive.
Well, I think it's more asked and answered, but you go ahead and answer. Just yes or no. Just answer yes or no. So do you
What
feel
was-
that you're calling?
Just what you were describing.
Yes, I do.
Um,
I would like to.
Well,
Objection,
no.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
no. You just gotta wait for a question, okay, Mr. Gathright?
Yes, ma'am.
no further questions.
Okay, very good. All right, members of the jury, I'm gonna have you step in just 2 minutes quick, and then we will return.
All right.
Well, folks, we heard it there. The streets are not the way. That's what it looks like to be facing the death penalty, man. Let me know what y'all think in the chat below. What do y'all think of his testimony that he just gave? How do you think his co-defendants are feeling about watching him up there? I mean, he definitely admitted to it, so I don't see any room for an appeal. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think.
Let me see if,
This is crazy, man.
yeah.
I did not expect that. I had to run from the gym to the computer. Sean Gathright just took the stand. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. What did y'all think about that one? His co-defendants looked a little upset watching him walk up there. And he looked a little nervous, a little shaky walking up, but he got up there. He did what he had to do. Sean Gathright just got off the stand. His grandmother testified for him today. His mom, his stepdad. It's been a few. His sister came up there too. That's when he broke down, and then he decided that he was going to testify. So I don't know who else we got today. I think he's done for the day. I think that now they're moving on to one of the Murphy brothers. I think that they're up next with people to talk. So we got about a little 2-minute break. Stay tuned in. I'll be right back in a minute.
would be helpful, at some point later today, I'm gonna go over to confirm the statutory mitigators that each defendant is asking for. With regards to the non-statutory and preparing the jury instructions, it would be helpful if you just emailed me a Word document that listed your requested non-statutory mitigators. And that way, I can easily plug it into jury instructions.
I have one ready to go, I'll just make sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
He been smiling the entire trial, man. He think everything funny, man. This dude, I think he really crazy. This dude is insane.
Some other attorneys from regional counsel that are going to handle some of the
Sure.
penalty or the civilian witnesses.
Sure.
Okay.
Just make sure they identify themselves for the record.
Yes, I'm going to do Mr. Nix with the.
When is your expert going to testify? Is it Ms. Wade is still on? She's coming up first?
No, we have a witness here that needs to get back to Jacksonville.
Okay. And then is your only Zoom witness, Ms. Wade?
Isaiah Chance Sr. was on there earlier.
Yes, I see someone that says Isaiah's iPhone. Is that him?
It should be, because he indicated to me he was watching.
I hope so.
Okay.
Before I admit it.
I sent him the Zoom link yesterday, and he's done Zoom before, so I think.
Okay, well,
I can ask him.
I'm not worried about that. I have other concerns, but.
I understand. I'll ask him.
Chance is back in the courtroom. All right, so let's go ahead and bring in our jury.
All rise. All good, very good.
Okay, very good. Welcome back, members of the jury. Everyone have a seat. And Ms. Finkelstein, do you have an announcement?
I do, Your Honor, at this time, on behalf of Sean Gafford, who addressed.
Okay, very good. All right, so Mr. Petridis, as to defendant Isaiah Chance, do you wish to call a witness at this time? Oh, that's right, you did. So go ahead and give your opening. Thank you for reminding me.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your time. As always, been getting a lot, but we really do. We've already made one of the hardest decisions human beings can make, and we're going to ask you to make a decision that in many ways is even harder. That decision is to look at Isaiah Chance, his whole life, not just the worst moments of his life, from the beginning when he was a child, and the man he was and is still becoming. Florida law and U.S. Constitution permit but never require the imposition of the death penalty. The law strongly favors life. Strongly favors life because our society has always placed a high value on life. It strongly favors life because despite the fact that if you find the aggravators outweigh the mitigators, if your conscience tells you you do not want to seek the death penalty, you do not have to vote for it. The law strongly favors life because it permits the jury to show mercy. The state has stated they're going to want 2 aggravators for Mr. Chance, that he was in a criminal gang and that the murder was committed in a cold, calculated, premeditated fashion. You have already found that Mr. Chance was in a criminal gang. And the state has indicated correctly there is a difference between premeditated and cold, calculated, and premeditated. We're not going to, in our presentation of the evidence, argue about the difference. We trust you'll make the proper decision on that. We're here because we believe that when you see the complete view of Isaiah Chance as a person, that those mitigators will outweigh the aggravators. Here are some of the mitigating circumstances we're going to present. The lack of any significant history, criminal history of Mr. Chance, is the fact that he was not an actual shooter in this offense. His age at the time of the crime, he was 21. You'll hear from our expert, Dr. Tracy Hardig, on this, the fact that he was borderline intellectually disabled, or is borderline intellectually disabled, as well as other developmental issues. The fact that he loves his children, of which he has 3. He's a good father. He's a good son. All the witnesses from his upbringing, his mother, his father, stepfather, grandmother, godmother, the loving relationship with his friends and family before and during his incarceration. Isaiah Chance grew up in Jacksonville. He was not raised in chaos. His parents were divorced, but they both stayed in his life. You're going to hear about a godmother who was with him from before he took his first steps. She was there when his mother was pregnant with him. He was surrounded by people who loved him, and he loved them back. You're going to hear from Nashawn Nix. He served as a father figure from Isaiah from when he was around 7. I'll tell you, he loved Isaiah like a son, and he still does. He'll tell you that when he had structure, when he had discipline, he moved in the right direction every time. Miss Wade, a family friend, will tell you he was curious, quiet, and deeply interested in building a future. Isaiah was born premature. All of his mother Victoria's children came early, and he was no exception. And as he grew, it became clear some things were harder for him. He struggled in school, not because he didn't try, but because his brain processed the world differently. The school had concerns, and he needed more help than other students did. You'll hear this from Dr. Tracy Hardig. His IQ was recently tested. It was 71. This places Mr. Chance in the range that clinicians call borderline intellectual functioning. This is not an excuse, but this is a fact, and it's a fact you are entitled to weigh. Everyone who knows Isaiah will describe him the same way: curious, quiet, gentle. A kid who wanted to be liked, a kid who wanted to fit in, a kid when had structure and guidance, he could thrive. When he didn't, he struggled. He was not a person barreling towards this moment his whole life. He was not a burden to the people around him. He was a presence. He went to his little sister's track meets, helped her train because he wanted to be around her. He attended church. He sat with Mr. Nix, talked about purpose and faith. He made people laugh. He had what some people consider a dry, quiet sense of humor. He was funny. He was warm. He helped around the house. He helped other people. He reached out to other people for advice. These are not the acts of a person without value. The state will stand before you and argue that Mr. Chance should die for what happened in this case. They will focus on the offense, and that is their right to do so. We're asking you to focus on Isaiah's life. You're going to hear from family members and friends who will tell you about his life. You're going to hear, we ask you to consider that a person can do something unforgivable and still not be beyond the reach of mercy. The law in its wisdom created this face precisely for that reason. Isaiah Chance is not the worst thing he has ever done. And by the end of those witnesses, we hope you will know Isaiah Chance. And then I will talk to you again at the end of this case, and I will ask you to choose life. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Mr. Petridis, who's going to be your first witness?
Sean Nix.
Okay, Nick Shaw Nix. Ready to go, Madam Clerk?
Yes, the stepdad check. Isaiah Chance's stepdad.
Okay, and councils, if you could just please introduce yourself to the jury real quick before we get going.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning, everyone. My name is Etany Moten, and I am part of Mr. Chance's defense team.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning.
Morning.
Can you please state your name and spell it for the court reporter?
Dr. Nishan Nix, Nahshon, Nix, Nicks.
And Dr. Nix, where do you live?
Jacksonville, Florida.
What do you do for a living?
I work with at-risk youth through my after-school and summer program. That's a nonprofit geared towards building leadership and character through mentoring and martial arts.
And were you ever involved in politics?
Yes. I ran for public office with a grassroots campaign.
And how long ago was that?
3 years ago.
How do you know Mr. Isaiah Chance?
I met him roughly when he was 6 years old. Him and his mother and I have a child together. We were involved for roughly around 7 years. And during that time, I was able to hopefully leave some positive impact and impressions upon him and his siblings.
How would you describe the role you played in his life?
I do not claim to be his father, but I hope to be a father figure.
And how long were you actively in his life in that role?
I would say roughly around 7 years.
Do you love him?
I do love him. I loved him then. and I love him now.
Does he know that?
He better know it.
Can you describe Isaiah Chance to the jury, just as a person, as a kid? What was he like?
Isaiah, growing up amongst a predominantly female household, him and I would have times to kind of like talk and chat. I even worked with him pertaining to academics. I introduced him to some martial arts. At that time, I was still competing and fighting in the cage. But I mean, as a kid, I mean, he was a typical young boy. I will say that Isaiah had some learning challenges, speech impediments. He stuttered. So if you listen to him talk, you had to lean in, give him some patience. If he didn't pronounce it right, say it again. I mean, typical kid. He loved noodles. Could eat. We'll go on family trips. I'm originally from New York, and he spent time with my grandmothers, my mother, my family, my siblings. He was loved. I believe he had a lot of positive influences.
So would you say he enjoyed family activities?
Yes, I would say he enjoyed family activities.
Did he have a sense of humor?
Yes, he did have a sense of humor. And like I said, he could eat. That was, like I said, if we were breaking bread, he was at the table, and I will say that he was also raised in the church. When I was in his life, I know just about every Sunday he was in a worship service or with me in church.
Did you see any indications of drug or alcohol use during the years that you knew him?
No, I did not.
Did he ever show any interest in gangs?
No, he did not. And I would like to add one thing that did stand out to me when Isaiah was roughly 10 or 11. We were riding in the car together, and he did mention that one day he would like to be a pastor. Like a prophet, to be able to speak truth and life to people.
So would you say he was active in the church?
Yes.
So you mentioned previously that you were very involved in Isaiah's life. What about his schooling during those formative years? How did that go?
Like I said, during his youth, as with any child, if there was a disciplinary action per se, I did not have a problem with chastisement. I believe the Bible says, "Spirit of wrath spoil the child," and I'm not saying that it's always about physical harm as far as a consequence with the rod, but even the lectures that come with it to let you know that you're reinforcing positive reinforcement.
When you knew him, did the school that he was in ever raise concerns about his learning abilities?
I believe one time they mentioned something about he could qualify for extra help and extra tutoring if he would get on medicine. And his mother and I agreed that if he needed some extra help, then I'll be willing to give him some extra help per se. But we didn't think that medicine would help him in that regard.
Did you see progress with Isaiah Chance when structure and consistency was in place with his learning?
Yes. A ton of improvements, positive gains. I mean, he did graduate with a high school diploma, and I'm very proud of that.
Do you know what schools Mr. Chance attended?
Yes.
Can you tell us about the schools?
While I was most present in his life, he attended Changing Lives Christian Academy. I would pick him and his siblings up every day, and I would debrief with them every day in the car. I want to know how your day went, what subject stood out to you, what did you learn, what was interesting to you. Like I said, so I actually enjoyed that time of debriefing with his siblings and himself to just hear how the days went, to get a good picture of what do you enjoy, what subjects you enjoy, things of that nature.
After your relationship with his mom terminated, did Isaiah stay in touch with you? I can rephrase the question.
I understood the question. There was a time that I was very active in Isaiah's life. His father had told me he respected and appreciated my involvement in his son's life. But pertaining to discipline, he asked me to step back. With stepping back, it circumvented my position as a father figure to where my involvement was very limited. However, Isaiah did reach out to me a few years back about becoming a merchant seaman. I was elated to hear of the aspiration, and I told him anything I can do to help. So I did write him a favorable letter of recommendation.
Was he appreciative of that?
Yes.
Mr. Nix, you work every day with at-risk youth through your nonprofit. You've dedicated your life to that work? Is that correct?
My entire adult life has been working in some of our most socially, economically disadvantaged communities within the city of Jacksonville to give every child a fighting chance at success, and as well as dignity and determination.
That's really nice. What brought you to that point that you decided to act in this role?
Growing up, my biological father was incarcerated in Attica, one of the largest state prisons in New York. My mom, the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life, struggled with substance abuse. And I know what it's like to feel as if you are hopeless. And by the grace of God, phenomenal teachers, phenomenal individuals that can see a little black boy and see potential leader, in our society, and teaching them how to read, teaching them how to speak for themselves, teaching them about respect, and understanding that God is real, and it's very important to me to be able to, what I would say, prefix instead of suffix, which is if we could get it right in the beginning, we wouldn't have to clean it up in the end. And training our youth through a curriculum that we wrote out called SEAL Team in honor of the Navy SEALs, which stands for social, emotional, and academic leadership through mentoring and martial arts, to where we close the door on influences that could lead to counterproductive behaviors.
I see. And Dr. Nix, I didn't ask you before, do you have a PhD?
Yes.
Can you tell me what it's in, please?
I graduated from the New York Theological Seminary, and I did all of my case studies in zip codes 32206, 32218, 32209, 32218, and I surveyed children to be able to build out.
Yeah, I'm going to sustain the objection.
Okay. Dr. Nix, I believe you have a statement that you would like to read.
Yes. First and foremost, I want to extend my deepest condolences.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, I'm going to sustain the objection.
Thank you, Dr. Nix. I tender the witness.
Your Honor, may we have one moment?
Yes.
Before cross?
Mr. Nix, you were heavily involved in Isaiah Chance's life growing up for about 7 years. Is that true, sir?
Yes.
And even though you said you were not his father, he had a father. Is that correct?
So I'm sorry. I'm very ignorant to this process. I thought I was allowed to read a statement.
Yeah, no. So, yeah, okay. I'm going to have the jury step out momentarily, okay? All right. Okay, very good. Everyone have a seat. So just so you know, Dr. Nix, the state's objecting to the letter. I haven't seen the letter and I don't know what the contents are, but it appears that you're going to make a statement about society and other things. That's not what this is about. Your testimony here today is just to tell this jury what you know about Mr. Chance, about his redeeming characteristics, and that you care for him and you will continue to care for him and things along those lines. It's not here to make political or philosophical statements. So the state has objected, and the defense actually agreed that a large part of it was improper for this phase of the proceedings, and I've sustained it. So we don't need to revisit it, okay? Because I've ruled. So now you just need to answer the questions that are asked of you, okay?
Copy. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
All
ma'am.
right, sure. I am going to ask you a question, though, just out of the presence of the jury, because I'm curious. You've been involved with the youth in Jacksonville for, it sounds like, a long time, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I had no idea the gang violence was so bad. And so I'm just curious, succinctly, if you have any idea, why is it so particularly bad in Jacksonville versus other areas in the state of Florida? Just curious.
I surveyed over 100 youth who had no idea what the other person was answering.
As far as what?
Your question, the number one concern for our youth in our urban communities is homicide and suicide.
Right. Well, because I heard one of the witnesses described that, I think it was Robert Howard, testified that the people that are in the gangs in Jacksonville consider themselves the little Chicago, which I think would be distressing for any member of the community when it comes to gang violence. You certainly don't want your community to be the little Chicago. So I'm just curious if there is something going on in Jacksonville in particular that has made this scourge really blossom.
There's also a big self-fulfilling prophecy component that they look at it as entertainment
I see.
until it becomes reality.
Right.
And unfortunately, the glamorization and attention hijacks the pleasure sensors to where endorphins, dopamine, cytosine is almost like a high that you're constantly chasing, but it's leading to counterproductive behaviors.
Yeah. And those drill rap videos, I think to your self-fulfilling prophecy, the more clicks you get, the more violent, the more outrageous the conduct, the more clips and clicks, and it becomes lucrative, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah. Okay, very good. Let's go and bring our jury back in. Okay. Okay. All right. While we're waiting, I do commend you for your work, and I commend you for rising above your circumstances.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You guys can have a seat. We're just waiting to get for Reggie to get the jurors lined up. He'll let us know when they're walking in.
What do y'all think so far? Y'all think it's gonna be death penalty, or you think it's gonna be life in prison? Let me know. Let me know.
All due returning, Judge.
Okay, very good. Everyone have a seat and you may continue, Ms. Doherty.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Nix, I know that you considered yourself a father figure to Isaiah Chance. Isn't that true, sir?
Yes,
And during that 7 years that you were with his mother, you were a parental figure to him. Isn't that true, sir?
yes,
You took a strong interest in him and his development. Is that correct?
yes,
And you have already mentioned and testified that he did have some learning challenges, I think was your words.
yes.
And sir, you believe that he may have had some hyperactivity when you were with him while he was growing up?
I would like to repeat what I said then now, which is I had no documentation that could prove the hyperactivity, but based on my interactions, yes.
Right. You told me that he didn't have a diagnosis, but based on your own observations of what you observed of him, you expressed your own concern. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you've already testified at some point that you and his mother were left with the choice of medicating him to get him or paid tutoring through the school, or not giving him medication, and you yourself taught him. Is that correct? You became his tutor.
Working with him, yes, ma'am.
And you said when he did that in a very structured environment, you saw great progress.
Yes,
So he was very intelligent. You just had to work with him in a structured environment. Is that true, sir?
yeah. With accountability, yes, yes,
Yes. And you were there for him. You provided him with that support when you were in his life.
yes,
And you had a positive, loving, supportive relationship with him as a father figure during that time period.
yes.
He had a loving relationship with his mother as well.
I agree.
And back when, even though you somewhat took a step back based on what his father requested you to do, you still would take phone calls from him. Is that correct?
Yes,
And you've told us about this one time where he contacted you and he wanted to let you know about his aspirations to be a merchant marine. Is that correct?
correct.
And he seemed very excited about that.
Yes,
And you were, again, supportive with him during that time period?
or supportive with him or for him?
For him, sir.
Oh, I was very supportive for him. Yes,
You would provide him with advice if asked about?
I provided him with the letter of recommendation, which is documented.
And so you continue to support him even though you were no longer as active in his life. Is that correct, sir?
In the areas that I could be supportive.
And when you were in his life, you took him on trips,
Yes,
went to church with him,
he went to church with me. Yes,
introduced him to your family.
yes,
He had good relationships with the people in your family.
yes.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Yes.
And sir, just going back again with the amount of time that you spent with him when you were in that role as his father figure, you said that you would pick him up from school. Is that correct?
Correct.
You spent a lot of time talking to him during those rides with him.
Yes,
He would tell you about his day.
I would probe all the children to see how their day went. instead of getting one-word answers. Yes,
Like a good father would, isn't that true, sir?
yes,
Trying to get involved in the details of his daily life. That is something that you did on a daily basis with him. Isn't that true, sir?
yes,
And he would share those details with you. Isn't that true, sir?
yes.
Okay. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, redirect? Okay, may this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Dr. Nix. Best of luck to you, okay? All right, and do you have the witnesses on Zoom you want to get to before we break for lunch? Sure, sure. All right, and the next witnesses? Okay, Elizabeth Jordan.
Good morning.
Hello, Cease.
Kim Cease for the record, Your Honor, on behalf of Mr. Chance.
Okay.
Your Honor, Ms. Jordan's requesting that she not appear on video if that is
Yes,
appropriate.
I asked the media not to broadcast the identity of this next witness.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this class will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes.
Hello. All right, you may proceed, Ms. Cease.
Good morning, Ms. Jordan.
Yes,
Could you
ma'am.
state your full name to the jury and spell your first and last name, please?
My name is Elizabeth Jordan, Elizabeth. My last name is Jordan, Jordan.
Ms. Jordan, how are you related to Isaiah Chance?
I am Isaiah's Nana, his grandmother.
And Victoria Gray,
Is
his
my daughter.
mother, is your daughter?
Yes.
Okay. Have you known Isaiah Chance since he was born, since he was a baby?
Oh, yes, when he was in his mother's womb.
And where do you live, ma'am?
I live in Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay. So you have been around him and known him his entire life?
Yes.
What was your relationship like with your grandson? Can you describe it to the jury?
I am Nana. My husband is no longer with us. He's Papa. So we've been in his life since he was a baby. Sweet child,
Describe what he was like as a little boy.
quiet, calm, sweet, never gave us an ounce of trouble. He was with us quite a while, quite much, to our house as younger and as older. We've never had a problem. Discipline part, we never had to raise a belt. We just can say something stern.
Was
And
he compliant for you
always.
and for your husband,
Always,
his grandfather?
yes.
Okay. Were you a hands-on grandmother where you would cuddle and put him on your lap?
If he had a chance, he'd come sit in my lap now.
Okay.
All his life, I've done that with all our children. They have the opportunity to sit in our lap, lay their head on our shoulder, and just be them.
When he was a little boy, did he have any problems in school, learning disabilities that you observed?
Yes, it was, I still didn't talk for a couple of years, maybe to about 4 or 5. So we knew that there were some speech impediment problems.
So he wasn't verbal for the
No.
first few years of his life, all the
No.
way up to age 4?
About 4, about
Okay.
between 3 to 5, that area, yes.
Okay, much later than your other grandchildren developed verbal
Absolutely.
skills. All right. And did he have a speech impediment?
Yes.
Describe what it was to the jury. What did he suffer from?
He would want to express himself, and he would stutter a lot. And you just had to be patient and sit with him and then let him say what he needed to say at that time.
Do you think as a young child that affected his ability to express himself and communicate with others?
Yes, sometimes it had.
Okay.
Yes.
Did it affect his abilities in school to learn and to excel like the other children?
He had some problems of learning, and we got him speech therapy and tutors as.
Do you recall what age he received speech therapy?
From the age, if I'm not mistaken, between three to 4 and up to a certain age. Yes.
And was that helpful to him?
Yeah, because he turned around one day and said, "Nana."
Okay. What sort of student was he in school?
Disciplined, quiet, calm.
Did you and your husband ever get involved in school activities like PTA meetings and things such as that?
We didn't do all PTA meetings, but we attend certain curriculum that they had.
Did you ever observe him as a child having a temper or being mean to the other grandchildren in your home?
No, he's gonna hang that head and just brush it off.
Did you take your grandchildren, including Isaiah, to church?
Oh yeah, he was raised in church.
Okay. And are you a minister of sorts?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And so it would be the norm in your household if the grandchildren were there, the grandchildren went to church on Sunday.
They didn't miss when they were with me.
Okay. And did he go willingly and participate in church?
Yes, he was a part of the children ministry. He did well.
Did he do that all the way up through adulthood?
As long as he was with me, he went. You can't live in my house and not go to church.
Would you also take Isaiah and other grandchildren on vacations, family vacations?
Yes, we did a lot of family vacation. As I stated, when we did Walt Disney World, Busch Gardens, Six Flags, Texas, every summer we would take them, all the grandkids, all for about 3 weeks and spend that time with them.
And would he participate with the other kids and with yourself and with his grandfather?
Yes, he did.
Now, tell me about your husband. Did there come a time that your husband became ill?
Yeah.
When was that?
In 2020.
2020?
Yes.
And what was originally his diagnosis?
He was diagnosed with kidney failure.
Okay. Is that something that when you first got the diagnosis, did you share that with your family?
No, we didn't.
You kept it a secret?
Yes, we did.
Between yourself and your husband?
Yes.
And what sort of treatment did he receive initially?
Initially, he did the dialysis at Mayo Clinic, and he wanted me to do it at home. He said, I trust you. I want you to do it because I know you're going to make sure I'm good. So I went to school for it, learned it within 6 months, and started doing it, administrating the dialysis from the house.
Did there come a time during his illness that you felt the need to share it with your family, including Isaiah?
Yes.
When was that?
It was in 21.
Okay.
When my husband felt like he needed to have a heart-to-heart talk with me. And he wanted the kids to know that he was dealing with this. And he actually died in 2022. And I was in St. Vincent by myself, and the Lord told me not to pull the cord. And I called my girls and they said, Dad is gone. And they said, Mom, I said, no, the Lord said, don't pull the cord, give him 7 days. And we believe in miracles. And within 7 days, my husband woke up with his right mind, his right spirit. And I began to tell Isel and them and the kids, and they just bubbled at that time. But my husband told me the Lord sent him back to make sure that his children were okay.
He was worried about his
He was worried about his
grandsons in
children.
particular.
So he lived 1 year from the date that he woke up.
And once Isaiah learned of his grandfather's illness, was he helpful to you and to his grandfather?
Yeah, my husband called him and said, I want to go to Atlanta for treatment. I need you to come. I need you to come with me and grandma, with Nana, drive the truck, help us move there. I was reluctant from going, but he had already set up temporary housing. My husband did it all. And Isaiah didn't give a negative. He said, I'm going, Papa. Tell me when you're ready.
How many grandchildren do you have?
Oh my God. A total of 24.
And your husband wanted Isaiah there.
Oh yeah, he helped name Isaiah. Yeah.
Okay. And when he called upon him and said, drop everything and come to Atlanta with grandma, Nana.
Nana.
And what did he call his grandfather?
Papa.
Papa. Did he drop everything and go with you?
The next day, he got in the truck and he said, Poppy, I drive. And my husband friend drove the U-Haul and Isaiah drove the truck and I drove the other car and we proceeded to go to Georgia.
And how old would he have been then when Isaiah did that? He was still a teenager.
Absolutely.
Okay. So he dropped everything.
Mm-hmm.
He went with Nana and Papa to Atlanta. What sort of care did he assist in with your husband? Did he have to aid you?
Oh yeah, he helped me.
What did he do?
When Papa couldn't get up, he helped. He would help me pick him up, put him in the chair, help me get everything ready, because everything has to be sterilized. You can't have anything in that area that has been tampered or tinkered with. So Isaiah was a proper call of helping me get everything administrative so that I can give him the dialysis.
Was his pop-up a big man?
Ooh, 270 pounds.
Okay. And what size were you back then?
About 110.
Okay. And was that something you would have been able to do by yourself to lift him, to move him from chair to chair?
I
during that
did
treatment?
at first, but you know, as you get older, your strength get a little bit. So Sean, I believe he looked at saying that I needed help. And we could have got it from the other kids, but he didn't want to burden them. He wanted this.
He wanted Isaiah. Okay. And did Isaiah ever turn him down? Did he ever complain about providing the care for his grandfather, providing care for you, for stopping his life to go to Atlanta with you?
No, he wanted to tell me his dreams, and he said he wanted to talk over Papa to see what we think. So that was an opportunity for him to spend the time going back and forth with us to say what he wanted to do.
Going through that experience in Atlanta, did it draw you closer to Isaiah?
I've always been close to my grandchildren. They know that. So it wasn't a specific time. It was just obedience on that part.
And sadly, there came a time that the illness progressed with your husband and he passed. When was that?
It didn't progress. Certain things happened.
Okay.
And he transitioned in 2023.
Okay. Tell me about the funeral and how your grandson stepped up at the funeral.
With that in mind, we're a close-knit family, and there are 4 original sons, and then there are multiple grandsons. So the older sons and grandsons decided to represent their papa by wearing these black uniforms with red writing in the back.
So they had shirts made
The
as
whole
a tribute
outfit.
to their grandfather?
Yeah, black pants with black shirts and then the red writing, and they indicated the service as unity and oneness in 2023.
And Isaiah participated in that.
Oh yeah, he's the oldest grandson. Yeah.
And they acted as pallbearers for their grandfather.
Yes, they took him
Including
out of the
Isaiah.
carriage. They took him out of the carriage They put him in the church. They took him from the church, put him back in the carriage.
In all the years that you have known Isaiah, have you ever known him to be violent with anyone?
Not at all.
Have you continued your relationship with him since he's been in jail?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to give him that word. Psalms 91. He that dwell in the secret place of the Most High shall abide in the shadow of the Almighty. He will be your refuge and your fortress in the time of trouble.
Does he accept your scripture when you give that to him on
I
the
give
jail
it to
phone?
him when he talks to him, and
Okay.
whatever he needs, if he needs money on his books, I am there. I'll put it on his books.
What's the one thing you want this jury to remember about Isaiah and
Isaiah
your
was
relationship?
Isaiah came from Isaiah 43, 13 to 18. It's not by chance his name is Isaiah, because the scripture says in that God told Isaiah, I'm going to give you another chance to get things right. So I don't think things just happen. I think that things are allowed because God is trying to wake up his people. So with that, Isaiah has always been a humble, sweet, kind child raising up. I can't say anything horrible because he's never been nothing but that.
Is he a good grandson to you and to your husband?
Oh, yes, he's respectful. Even now, when I say something and he's been where he's at, he'll say, Nana, I love you, but I want to just say something to mama right now. I said, okay. He's never been disrespectful or anything.
If I could have a moment, Your Honor.
Yes. Okay, Cross?
Just briefly, Your Honor. Ms. Jordan, it sounds like you had a wonderful relationship with your grandson. Is that correct?
With all my grandchildren, that is correct.
And specifically with Isaiah Chance, your grandson, you and your husband, while he was alive, had a strong, loving relationship. Is that true, ma'am?
Yes, with all of them.
With
yeah.
all of them.
Yes,
And you had wonderful family trips during the summer.
we all did, yes.
And you would do that every summer with all your grandchildren, including Isaiah Chance.
That is correct.
And I know that you have told us about some of his issues growing up, like he required speech therapy.
That is correct.
And you said after he got speech therapy, he did develop. Is that correct? He was able to speak and he didn't have any issues after that.
He still studies some. He still stutters and he still spoke calm, and he will hesitate before he finishes sentences.
And throughout school, if he needed any sort of support or issues, you would see to it that he got that. Is that correct? That he would get tutors?
Well, all of us did. This was not just one man team with Nana and Papa. This was a collective force.
He had a village.
He had a village, as
He had a
Nation
village.
said. That is
Oh,
correct.
And I didn't mean to interrupt you, ma'am. He had a lot of people in his corner trying to support him and give him whatever he needed growing up. Is that true, ma'am?
To some certain extent, as much as we can do. We're not living in the same household, but when he was with us, he did.
And in fact, I thought you said you had described him when he was going through some of that learning, that you said he could be very disciplined, quiet, and calm. Is that what you
correct.
said?
That is correct.
Yes. And so when he put in the effort, certainly he was able to progress.
Around me, I've never had a problem. He was always quiet, always calm, and always disciplined.
And always respectful. Isn't
Always
that true, ma'am?
respectful around me. And that's all of them. It's because the way we raised him.
And you said that he was raised in the church. Is that correct?
He was in the church by me, by his parents, his mother, and And Pastor Nashon, Dr. Nashon spoke also because he was a part of his life by that time.
And certainly at the very heart of church, he knew and was taught right from wrong. Isn't that true, ma'am?
Well, the scripture says we all do. He without sin cast the first stone. So we all know what's right and wrong. But do we make those decisions all the time? No.
But he was raised to know right from wrong. Isn't that true, ma'am?
He was raised to know what the Ten Commandments says and what to do. That's correct.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
Okay, redirect? Okay, may this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. You're free to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Absolutely. Okay, you want to go ahead and do the Zoom witnesses? Okay, I know they've been waiting a while, so. All right, who's going to be up first?
I did verify that it is Isaiah.
Okay, thank you for doing that for me. And so who you're going to call first?
I'll call Isaiah. And Judge, you would like his identity.
Okay, the next witness also does not want their identity broadcast, okay? All right.
Oh, sorry.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Podium's not connected yet.
Oh, sorry. Right. Hi, Mr. Wade, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you.
Okay, very good. All right, raise your right hand. The clerk is going to swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this class will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, you may proceed, Mr. Petrides.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you state your name for the jury?
Isaiah Chance.
And you are Isaiah Chance Jr.'s father, correct?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell the jury a little bit about yourself? What do you do for work?
I'm a building engineer. I work on different buildings, dealing with generators, fire pumps, just the whole outlets of the building.
How did you get into that line of work?
I started off with remodeling houses when I got the military, and just went from learning different aspects in remodeling houses and construction period. Went from there to doing hotel maintenance.
And what branch of the military?
The Marine Corps.
How long did you serve?
I served about 3.5 years.
And let's talk about your son. Were you present in Isaiah's life when he was growing up?
Yes, sir.
Can you describe your relationship with your son?
Me and my son had a good relationship, we was always, checking in on each other, close with each other. Everybody described me and my son, personality has been and likes, but we had a good relationship with each other.
Did Isaiah call you frequently?
Yes, sir. He always called me, checking in on his pops.
And how did you end every phone call with Isaiah, or how do you end every phone call with you?
Well, every time Isaiah hang up the phone with me, this the only thing that make me happy is he always say, I love you, no matter what.
When he was growing up, did you spend hands-on time with him, not just watching him from a distance, but working with him, helping him with things?
Yes, sir. Like I said, I was in remodeling houses and fixing up houses, doing rehab, full rehab. So some of the houses that I used to get, I bring them on with me. And, we'll work beside each other. I teach them how to do certain things, as I have learned myself.
So did you feel like you were teaching him a trade?
Yeah, most definitely.
And how would you describe Isaiah as a person, his character?
My son, he was very, he was very quiet. He's a protective, he had protective behavior toward his family. He was very kind and generous. He always tried to comfort people, you know what I'm saying, when people get upset. So, you know, I like his attitude. Like I say, he's very quiet and you know, just full with, you know, love from the inside.
Did you raise him in church or in faith?
When he first started off going to church, he was going to church with his mom. You know, they were doing their thing there. And then, you know, when they grew up and he was actually, you know, coming around me a little bit more, I would introduce him into like Islam or whatnot, you know, take him to the mosque, let him, you know, see a different, you know, a different aspect of religion.
I want to talk about his time in school. Did you notice anything regarding his time in school, the way he learned, the way he had issues possibly in school?
I think that was one of his childhood hardships with, you know, grasping, you know, school education at that time. You know, that work was a little bit frustrated for him. So, you know, he used to be, you know, a little bit, you know, slow to catching on with work, and, you know, I'd be there to help him out. Sometimes I, you know, let him know that, hey man, even your daddy's slow with some of this stuff that I used to try to learn back then, help and study, you know.
So you told him a little bit like father, like son?
Right, definitely.
What did you do with him to help him during this time?
I always stayed close, you know, range with his, you know, his education, you know, with him, how he think, you know what I'm saying? Like, just making sure that, you know, he's on point with, you know, learning things, you know, whatever, you know, type of, it can be in whatever subject, you know, just making sure that I was there to help.
Okay. Before this incident, did you know Isaiah to ever be in trouble with the law?
No, sir.
Is there anything else you'd like this jury to know about Isaiah before we're done here?
You know, just the regular, that's my baby. I love him. That's my son. That's my first son. I believe that he still has value, and I believe we can save this one.
Thank you, Mr. Chance. Attended the witness.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
No questions, Judge.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Chance. Your testimony is now concluded, so you can log off from Zoom.
All right, thank you, Judge.
Okay, thank you. All right, and you've got one more witness.
Yes, Ms. Wade. Should
Okay,
be
I'm
brief, Your
gonna
Honor.
let her in. Ms. Wade, are you present? She's been waiting a while, so. Hello, Ms. Wade?
Oh, there she goes.
Hi, okay, very good. Yeah, sorry, it's been a long wait. I apologize for that this morning, but we're ready to get going. So if you would please raise your right hand to be sworn.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Ms. Wade. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Thank you. Can you please state your name for the jury?
Nyanda Wade.
Can you just tell us what city do you live in and what do you do for a living?
I live in Jacksonville, Florida, and I am a hotel manager for a living.
How do you know Isaiah Chance?
I know Isaiah, I came to know Isaiah through a brief relationship with his father. And after the relationship had ended, I remained in close contact with Isaiah, his siblings, his mother, the family, so I'm a family friend.
Do you know approximately when that relationship began with his father?
2018.
And have you remained at least somewhat close to Isaiah Chance ever since? The son?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What would you describe your relationship as with Mr. Chance?
I would say I look at him as another son, but my role in his life is more so like a mentorship.
How did that work? What did that look like?
So Isaiah and his siblings would come over with me to my house for weekends. I visit with the family quite often at their home. If there were any birthday parties, age related, or with folks age close to age with Isaiah or his siblings, and I would take them along with me. We did lots of things together. We taught his older sister how to drive together. Lots of family outings, extracurricular activities with his siblings. So we were pretty close.
Did you ever watch your dog?
Yes, yes. So on a number of occasions, I asked Isaiah to babysit or dog sit for me or house sit due to like travel for work. He was really responsible, so I felt comfortable with leaving him with those responsibilities.
So he would stay in your home alone at that time?
Yes, or maybe like a weekend.
And you trusted him to do that?
Yes.
Did you ever have any issues during those times?
No, I never had an issue with Isaiah, and no behavioral issues. Never even seen him get upset. But yes, I felt very comfortable with him taking care of my home while I was away.
And how would you describe Isaiah as a person?
He's very reserved, sort of on the quiet side, but also insightful, I would say.
Quiet can mean different things to different people. What do you mean by that regarding Isaiah?
Quiet in terms of, not really attention seeking, very observant. So once he warmed up to a situation though, it was, in a new environment, he'd, be all about it. I was kind of surprised for a young teenager to be so willing to kind of jump out into new experiences the way that he was. He wasn't very shy.
Did he ever tell you about plans for his future?
Yes, we talked a lot about what he would want to do, after he became an adult. I came into his life when he was about 16 at the time, so those conversations became a little more serious over time as, he was getting close to being an adult. He mentioned, we actually talked a lot about the different types of careers available because he wasn't really sure, what he was good at just yet. But he landed, he had a big interest on becoming a merchant seaman.
Did he tell you
So
why?
that was-
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say that was one of the careers that he took the additional steps to pursue. He started to obtain some documentations that were necessary. Myself, him, his mother, we were discussing with him where he should go to school, those sorts of things.
Do you know why he wanted that field in particular?
Well, from what I understood, he wanted to do something that was a little purpose, that had some purpose to it. He also wanted to travel. He hadn't been outside of Jacksonville too frequently. I know he's took a few trips, but not frequently. So he really wanted to see the world, and definitely something that would be able to provide for his children.
Okay. So you're aware, obviously, that he has children, correct?
Yes. Isaiah became a father when he was pretty young, 18, almost 19 years old. I was very impressed with how hands-on he was. Always calling and asking questions. Am I doing this right? Can I do this? Should I give the baby this? Asking me, how to cut his fingernails so he wouldn't scratch his little face, that sort of thing. He was very, very hands-on. He actually, he was pretty much his child's main caretaker while the child's mother was working. So I was very impressed with how he kind of stepped into that role. We were all really excited that he had picked a career that would help support his family.
Do you plan to stay in contact with Isaiah while he's in prison?
Absolutely, 100%. I totally understand that the support, once incarcerated is just as important as the support, outside. I do plan to keep in contact with him, continue to mentor him, continue to guide him in any way that I can.
And lastly, is there anything else you want this jury to know before I let you go?
I would just like the jury to know that Isaiah is a father. Again, that is something that is new to him, but it is very important to him. We've had plenty of conversations, very intimate conversations about how important it is for him to be in his children's lives in any capacity that he can be. So I understand what's at stake here, I guess you could say, and I really would like the jury to know that, removing Isaiah from his children's lives would be devastating to not only the children, but his family, all of us. He's a dedicated father, and he needs to be there for his children.
Thank you, ma'am. No further questions, tender
Okay.
lawyers.
Very good. Cross?
No questions, Judge.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Wade. Your testimony is now concluded, and I again apologize for the wait, and you can log off the Zoom.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are we anticipating any other Zoom witnesses today? Okay. And then Ms. Toomey, you're gonna be up next. Do you have any Zoom witnesses today? Okay. All right, then I'm gonna close out the Zoom, and we will take our lunch recess. So it's 12:30. If you all could be back here at 1:45, and we will continue on. Thank you.
All rise.
Well, chat, what y'all think about that? So we saw Sean Gathright take the stand earlier today, along like his grandmother came up there. His grandmother, his stepdad, I believe, a few other people. And then now we just had Isaiah Chance and his folks speak about him so far. So what are y'all thinking, man? Leave it in the comment section below. We're going to stay live. We're going to pick back up with this right after lunch. But yeah, let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below. Let's chit chat about it. I was not expecting Sean Gathright to take the stand at all. I don't know, talking still about me.
Specialist Ms. Quinn was able to provide the UF records for us, the medical records that have been mentioned. There are over 700 pages of them. And I think they are critical to this, to their opinions, Dr. Eisenstein's opinions, because he mentions briefly their whole basis of their mitigation is going to be brain damage. And there's prior motor vehicle accidents that are documented in these medical records, which I have not, the state has not had a chance to go through at all. Eisenstein mentions them, Dr. Eisenstein, excuse me, mentions them briefly, but he relies upon them. And we want the opportunity to go through these. I can't do that over an hour lunch. It's 700 pages.
And when did you receive these documents?
They were just handed to me.
Just now?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Judge, when we first started this trial, I recall Judge Mr. Harmon saying that I had provided him all the records that I had listed. So I don't know where the disconnect is or was, but certainly it intended not providing him those documents.
Well, I guess at a minimum, she could do her direct of the doctor, and then we could break and bring him back tomorrow for cross.
Okay.
So you need to let your doctor know. We're gonna have to do that. So, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. See you guys back here at 1:45.
All right, yeah, chat. So they'll be back on at 1:45 is what they're saying. So 1:45 Eastern time. So yeah, go ahead and chill out. Tap back in with me. We will be here. I'll be back on stream in a minute. I'm gonna end this, clip up some videos, and then I will catch y'all on the next one. It's your boy. See you in a minute.
Yeah, baby mama, she a fan though. All my niggas, they strapped to be in that van though. Hey, you hate, you a fan, bro. Bust slow, the honeys, I'm in the Lambo. Yeah, baby.